Hi, welcome to day 6 on site. The weather's been quite good at the moment, but I'm not so sure that's going to be the same this afternoon. We've got heaps of venturers on site today, which is great because we're opening up Trench 8 down by the rear daughter, as well as continuing work on Trench 9, which is also down there next to the standing ruins. And also today we're continuing work on Trenches 10 and 11, which are in the earthworks field. So that's what we've got going on today.
Okay, so as Olivia mentioned, we're continuing our work at Trench 9 and we're also opening up Trench 8 today. So this is the rear daughter, so this would have been the latrine of the monastery, so basically the toilets. And this trench was actually excavated previously, but no record made of what they actually did. So we're going to go in, we're going to reinvestigate what they actually did, see if we can establish whether this drain we've got here is actually contemporary with the monastery, or whether it was maybe reconstructed by the Ministry of Works at a later date after the excavation.
So we're over the fence now in Trench 9. We are getting down through the topsoil layers further and further through the old spoil heap from the 1980s excavations, and we're beginning to come up with some nice finds now. For instance, these shards of pottery. With this piece has a potential jug handle, and you can see the nice profiles to them as well. So there's lots of jumble finds at the moment, different eras, but it's still a very interesting layer, and hopefully as we go down further we'll hit some nice archaeology.
So we've been dry sieving a lot of the fill that's been coming out of the ditch over here where John's working, and out of that came 2 pieces of worked flint. So this gives us some interesting questions to take up now that we've found these pieces, and we'll just keep going and see if we can find any more.
So we're just before lunch, back in Trench 10, and Trench 10 is giving us perhaps more questions than answers. So whereas in the corner there we've got a fairly, obvious post hole, and it's just a fill and a cut. Over here we had a really perfect example of a cut and then the wooden post being put in and then packing around that. And now we've got these 2 coming up, and Tara's one here. We're kind of happy to say that it's a similar sort of situation as the second post hole there, with the cut and the fill, and then the packing around the wooden post. But this one is raising much more questions, and it's harder to say that that is the case in this situation. And now we're getting splodges as well. Splodges around here, for example, where it seems lighter than the clay around it. So it gets to the point now where we've been investigating this trench for a few days, and splodges like this are creating more questions than answers.
The way I excavations
Okay, it's day 6, we're at the top end of Trench 11. It's just after lunch and rain's just started. We've got to a point here where we're just about finished digging the features at the top end, where you can work out what the relationships are with them all. We know there was probably a structure here because of the 2 post holes here and here. No idea what function they're for and what type of building it was. And the next challenge is going to be working out what's going on with the bank material.
so the weather took a turn for the worse this afternoon.
Still wet through.
Oh, I am soaking. And James and I, we stayed outside and we tried to do some planning through some torrential rain. A little bit mental, but we thought we'd give it a go, and then we realised that was a really, really stupid idea. And also decided to come in. So, you know, the venturers did a lot of things this afternoon.
Yes.
They went through all those samples and they did lots of fines processing.
Yeah, well, that, you know, doing the records, doing the planning, although it wasn't the best weather for it, it was what we really needed to do, because we're at the end of the first week now, and recording, making sure all those records are completed and finished, and processing the fines. So we've been processing the pottery, we've been doing the wet sieving for all the sediments that's coming out of the ditches. I don't know, what do you think we've got this week? What's your opinion?
Oh, well, we have so many features coming out of the trenches. It's a little bit scary because you know that you've only got a week left, and also a little bit scary because I think there's more questions than answers now.
Absolutely, we can see those features. It's, you know, we've exposed them, we've put sections through, we've got fines coming through, but yeah, you're right, more questions than answers. We need to take stock of what we've got this week, we need to take stock of the fines, hit it hard next week, and try and get a function, and try and really characterise what's going on there. Do we have structures on that platform? You know, what is that ditch doing? Is it an overflow? Is it being routed towards something? It's looking good.
It is.
I sense there should have been an ending to that. yeah.
Oh, it's the end of the week. Shall we go for a beer?
I reckon. Let's do it. Come on.